What's up guys, Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. Today I have a great video for you. I'm going to be talking about which Superman film live action is the best, and I hope you like my shirt. Yeah! Alright, so let's get into this video. Let's move this back up. So, with the new Superman film, I've been thinking, well, I did like that film. I really did. So I'm gonna rank the Superman films, starting from like 1978, I believe, directed by, why am I blanking? Donner. What's Donner's first name? Why can't I remember Donner's first name? I don't know. Why can't I think? Let me see. Richard Donner, of course. I had to cheat and look, but anyway, Richard Donner. So, let's rank these films. By the way, I'm gonna be ranking just the initial iteration of Superman. So, I'm not gonna be, for this set right here, I'm not gonna be doing Superman 2, 3, and 4. So I'm not going to do the sequels. So for this video, I am going to be ranking the original Superman, the reboot, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, and Superman Legacy, Superman 2025, James Gunn Superman, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So I'm going to be ranking those 4 films. Now, obviously this is going from worst to best. So, worst, number 4, I have to put Superman Returns. So, let's see. The year is 2006, okay? So I'm in 6th grade. And this is just a year after Batman Begins, which was such a revolutionary reboot of the Batman franchise. And then we get Superman Returns. We have Brandon Routh playing Clark Kent and Superman. I recently rewatched this film. I'm sorry, it didn't do much for me back then. It still doesn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, Lex is basically... He's coming up with a scheme, as Lex always does, and he basically realizes that land is the one thing that people aren't producing anymore, and so he comes up with this plan to use kryptonite to start creating land, and I think he's gonna destroy some other land that's there, and basically he wants to build I guess new houses and something on this new land that's made out of kryptonite. Something like that. I don't know. There's not too much in this film that I like. I mean, it's just kind of forgettable. And Superman's my favorite hero, but I never really was a big fan of Superman Returns. So I'm putting Superman Returns at the bottom of the barrel. Okay. So, number 3. Superman Legacy, or Superman 2025, comes in at number 3 on my list. So Superman 2025 was good. This is a younger Superman. James Gunn wanted to portray him younger. His whole theme of this film was he wanted to portray kindness in a world that he believes kindness is going out of fashion. He wanted this Superman to be kind and uplifting, and you can see that in many scenes where he's fighting the giant monster. He even takes time to save a little squirrel. So this Superman, I did feel cared a lot for humanity, despite the fact that his parents sent him there to Earth to basically, I guess, make a new Krypton and basically enslave humans and have them serve him. I didn't really like that origin story from his parents because his parents have always been like these altruistic people. You know, they sent him there so he could have a better life, you know, not so he can conquer them. So I didn't really like that aspect of this film. But overall, I thought it was a good film. It's basically action from start to finish, non-stop. So I really like that film. So that's why it comes in at number 3. Now, this I know will upset a lot of people, but coming in at number 2, the runner-up, is going to be Superman the movie from 1978. Now this one's pretty good. I believe this film is, I mean, it's just classic, man. Like, it depicts Superman in such a kind way. He's just, I remember the scene where he's flying with Lois, and she like, he's like outside her balcony or something, and she's in like a nightgown, and she's like, "Do you need something to drink?" And he's like, "Oh no, thanks, miss. I never drink and fly." So it's like he's just like this stand-up guy. It's like as if he'd be impaired by alcohol, you know, like drinking and driving. So I thought that was pretty nice. I just like the portrayal of him. Lex Luthor is the villain, and in this film he wants to like shoot a bunch of missiles over to California, where the San Andreas fault line is. So California will fall into the Pacific Ocean, and then where the remnants of that is, he wants to like build condos for rich people and make a lot of moolah. So yeah, Lex being Lex. Overall, not a bad film. It's just the classic nature of this film which makes this great. Alright, so that's why it's number 2. And number 1, of course, you guys know my number 1 is Man of Steel by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's the producer. David S. Goyer wrote the screenplay and the script, and it's directed by Zack Snyder. Now, what can I say about this film that hasn't already been said? I love this film. It was great. It's an origin story. I like the portrayal of Krypton in the beginning, and Jor-El and Zod on Krypton. And then when we see Superman on Earth, we see him trying to figure out what is his place in the world. And he pretty much doesn't get too much of a chance to figure out who he is, because once Zod shows up, it's just like, you know, you gotta, if you want to protect this planet, which he does, then you're gonna have to fight, and you're gonna have to kick some ass, and that's exactly what he does. And he feels bad that he killed Zod because, you know, Zod's a Kryptonian just like him. But he didn't agree with Zod's methods of basically terraforming Earth to suit the Kryptonians, you know, because obviously they're the superior race. But, you know, Superman didn't see it that way. I like the scenes with him and his father. You know, his father's like, you know, we wanted you to know what it's like to live as a human first. And I just really like this film. I love his relationship with his Earth father, his relationship with Jor-El, his relationship with his mother. There's this cool scene where Martha's saying, like, when you're a baby, you know, it was hard for you to breathe, and, you know, she worried about him. And we were watching this all as like a family one day, and then my mom was actually like, that's kind of like, that reminds me of you, because I had asthma when I was a little baby, so it was hard for me to breathe as well. So yeah, that's a little bit personal to me as well. You know, my mom took care of me, put me on the breathing treatments and everything, make sure I could breathe, and make sure I was getting healthy. So that was a little nice touch. I love the family dynamic between him and his parents. He had great action when he fought the Kryptonians and Zod. The battle in Metropolis is just awesome. And the suit is amazing. It's modern, it's sleek. You know, it still looks like the classic logo, but it's a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more um, alien looking. You know, it looks more like an alien symbol. So I really like that. I like the first flight scene is amazing when he's in the Arctic and he's figuring out how to fly, and then he hears the voice of Jor-El. It's just amazing when he just lifts off and he flies all over the earth. You see him in like Africa, you see him like across the oceans. He's weaving in between mountains at like supersonic speed. The score by Hans Zimmer is so amazing. It's an iconic scene, and I'll never forget that scene in the theater. So I really, really like Man of Steel. It's just my favorite Superman film of all time. So that is my list for Superman. Which film is the best in my opinion? Man of Steel is just, to me, it is the best. You know, unless we see anything better than Man of Steel, for right now, Man of Steel is the best Superman film in my book. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, what is your favorite live action Superman film?